Hello, and welcome to the Astral Tourist. Hello, especially to all the new subscribers. Thanks for tuning in. So, today I'm just going to cover how to wake up super fast while astral projecting and lucid dreaming. Somebody on one of the social forums actually gave me the idea for the vid, so thank you. What they asked me wasn't directly about this, but the question was about how am I so comfortable just exploring on my own, in an unknown places, like the forests and, other planets and things like, because something could happen, right? And something has happened numerous times. Many things, good and some not so good, which I don't always talk about, but maybe I should a little bit more. Anyway, I just feel safe all the time because I know I can wake up anytime I want to. I don't have to keep having that experience at all. I can just be done. I can wake up. And so that gave me the idea for how, maybe I should cover how to wake yourself up really quick. And there are a number of different ways to do that. Most people will not need to do too many of these to wake themselves up. It does require already getting yourself lucid during an astral projection or a lucid dream. These are just the things that work for me. I'm not saying they'll work for everyone. Your mileage may vary. I just share the ways I've developed for myself based on my own experiences over the years. I've developed my own little things and quirks and stuff that I do. Because, when I was first astral projecting, I was just a kid and there weren't really any books. I mean, the first book I remember checking out. Oh, one of the first books. It was either like the Egyptian Book of the Dead or one of the Carl Sagan space books. Maybe both at the same time, I don't know. Because those were the closest things I could find. I mean, I was already out there in space. I was encountering people who told me they'd passed. Um, I was just trying to find out stuff from this tiny local library because I grew up in this super small town. So, amazingly, they had those books. So that I guess that was impressive at the time for such a small place. But anyway, these are the things I've developed for myself. So maybe they'll help you. So number one, just thinking about your physical body alone is enough for most people to wake up. Just think about it, make the intention to go back to it. Think about it how it's already waking up. This is something I found out later on. Think about it like it's in the present moment, the present tense. It's happening right now. It's not that you're going to wake up. Don't do going to. It's a done deal. You're waking up now. Think about it as if you already are. It's an event already in process. You're not going to. You are right now. You're opening your eyes right now. You're getting up to go use the bathroom physically right now. Your bedroom, maybe it's too cold or too hot because you can feel it already right now. And boom, there you are right back in your physical body. And most people won't even have to do that much. They'll just be thinking of their physical body and, whoosh, they're right back in it. So that's enough for most people. And this is for the rest of you. Okay. So, one thing I discovered over the years when this one is from back when I was younger and I'd seen The Wizard of Oz. And so I developed clapping 3 times. Instead of clicking my heels 3 times like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, I would clap my hands 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And and I would use a command like wake up or go home. And that would pull me back to my body. This one is kind of slower. It's like when you're just out there, lazy style. I call it the lazy technique. And I just, I'm tired of, flying around. Maybe there's nothing going on. Maybe I would like to wake up early and do something else, read something, study something, get some extra work done. I use that technique. Nothing big is happening. I just want to wake up. I go 1, 2, 3, and make the command to go home or to wake up. Sometimes when I say wake up, I don't always go back, which is why I use go home. But other people I think will have more success with wake up. It's a more direct style. But I'm used to like telling my mind to be awake to astral project. And so I think that's maybe why go home works better for me. And just as a small tangent, I have tried to use my feet sometimes, like actually clicking my heels together. But I tend to get distracted because sometimes I'll just, like, have notice I just have one shoe on, or I'll just have my misty feet. I tend to go around in the astral in my misty form, so I'll be, like, looking for my feet, and they'll have to manifest, and, um, yeah, so I like the clapping method better. So my next method here is my little toe hack. I call it that, my little toe hack. So the basic premise is to move a physical body part. I say attempt to move a physical body part, but again, be thinking about it in the present tense like it's a done deal. Um, so in my case, I chose my little toe for some very specific reasons. It's actually really, really small. It's so tiny, I barely notice it in the waking world. I can even barely feel it like when I'm just walking around. But I can. I mean, I don't have any nerve problems or anything there. It's just that I have to think about it. I have to actually try to move it and rotate it and everything else just to kind of be aware of my really tiny little toe. So I think my brain just kind of clues in that because I'm thinking about it, because it's something I don't usually notice that, there's something going on, there's more to do, you know, it's like a sublayer of a reason. Again, if I use this method, I think about it as already happening. My little toe is there moving. And even though it may not actually be, I still think about it that way. I assume it's already moving, and pretty soon my physical body is following it along and waking up. Some other methods I've used with some success are blinking my eyes and trying to speak. So just blinking my eyes sometimes works and sometimes doesn't for me because sometimes my astral body will be like in a flux about it and I'll see like a question. Like my lucid mind will ask me a question by showing me an image and it'll show like one eyelid over another eyelid. Like, what do you really mean here? What's going on? But I think other people can have success with just trying to blink. Maybe add something else in there, like both eyelids at the same time. But for me, that one's kind of a tricky one because, again, my astral self be like, you usually want to stay out. Are you really sure? And it'll show me that picture of an eyelid over an eyelid. Like, which one do you want to close? Which one do you want open? And I still will wake up if I continue on with that method. But it's like I get a confirmation, like it's got to be confirmed that, yeah, I really want to wake up my physical body and I have to show both eyelids are open, and then I'll wake up. This is kind of a funny one for me. And trying to speak, I'll end up waking up using this method. And I don't mean like telepathically or using thoughts. I will actually have to think about the motion of moving my mouth and my jaw and my tongue and how to form the words. So this one's a little more complex, but it could work for some people, and it does work for me if I use it. So just think about making the actual motions of the words with your mouth if you use that one. And you will wake up and you'll be making some weird sounds probably in like way in the back of your throat. That's what happens to me. So that's one more method. This next one is one of my personal favorites for making a super, super, super fast wicked fast wake up, and it's incorporating an intense tactile feeling. For me, I use itching. You may have to experiment with what works for you, but there's nothing like having a horrible itch you can't scratch, right? So I'm pretty sure that this will work for like everybody. If you can think of a terrible itch you once ever had, whether it was from, oh, like the chicken pox or some terrible mosquito bite, a rash, that just wouldn't quit for X amount of time. And for me, I think about it like in a weird place too. I add on another sublayer here. Like I'll think about having that itch in a place like right inside or underneath my eyelid or under a fingernail. Um, and you can incorporate other things, like also trying to blink at the same time. But for me, it's better to just focus on the feeling itself. Like you've got to itch it. There's no, talking about it. There's no discussion. Like maybe there's something going on in the astral you don't like. Well, you're too busy for that because you have this itch you just have to scratch. There's no discussion. There's no like putting your attention on this other thing that's going on. And one of the positives to this is that it helps you to not really feel as much fear too. Like if you're afraid of something, you can feed that energy, whether it's a part of yourself, like your mind tricking you a little bit, or like if you think it's an actual astral being, you can't feed them your fear if you're too busy waking up trying to scratch this itch. They have nothing to grab onto there in your psyche. All you have is this itch, and you're gonna wake up and again be totally in the present moment. The itch is happening, you're fixing it. And you don't go back and forth with, if there's something there, you don't put your attention back and forth on it at all. The only thing that you should be aware of, if you use this method and you really want to wake up super fast, is the itch. That's all there is. You don't go back and forth. You don't, discuss things with this being or whatever is upsetting you. You only have the itch and, you might think, oh, it's not working. And that's a passing thought. Ignore it. You have this itch. You're waking up. You're moving your physical body. You've got to scratch the itch and you will wake up. It works, but you have to let it. Sometimes things aren't super instantaneous, but they do work. And you just have to learn to keep your focus in that one place. That's the tip. So, this next tip is about desire and motivation. Um, there's just something you have to get up to do. Again, it has to do with the physical, but you're placing it a little bit forward and, well, present and forward. The present tense part of this tip is that you need to be in the process of getting up to do something. And the desire part is that thing that you really are motivated to do. And this is where you have to be picky about what you choose for this thing to be. You can think about the worst cold you ever had and you really need a drink, like you have to get up and get some water. Or maybe you can think about being hungry and getting a snack. I know I was reading on in the social media somewhere, somebody just had to have their cigarette or whatever it was, and they had to get up to get that, and that works for them. So you'll have to choose something that you truly desire. You're not going to go another moment without it. So this is present tense moving forward tense. Be in the process of that, and you will wake up to go do that thing. So, this next part is for those who are super deep sleepers and experienced astral projectors. Okay, there is this thing I've noticed where when I'm far away from my physical body, like think deep space or in a super higher dimension in an altered state of consciousness while I'm asleep, when try to wake myself up, I say, go home, or use one of these other methods. I notice sometimes I make pit stops on the way home, on the way to my body. Like I'll end up in somebody's house, that just happened to me recently, or I'll end up in like there are these astral meeting areas. I'll end up like in some kind of a safe zone instead of actually ending up back in my physical body. So for me, this is a good thing because I can kind of just reevaluate where I am because I don't always wanna just wake up, actually. So if I end up in one of these places, I'm pretty happy about it most of the time. And so I can reevaluate, I can see, do I really wanna continue to wake myself up or not? But other people, if you just wanna wake yourself up, just continue with these methods. Repeat. Do it and repeat, like shampooing your hair, it says wash, rinse, repeat. Just keep repeating the method because it did work, right? Like, even if you only got to a pit stop, a rest area, as they say, just continue on. The method worked. Just keep doing it, and you will get back to your physical body. So I just wanted to put that out there that, if you're far away from it, there could be these pit stops, or if you're like in a super high state of awareness or consciousness, you might just get part way and then just keep going and making these stops along the way. I think they're really fun myself, but if you don't like them, just continue the methods and wake up. The next step, of course, is to make these a habit. So start with just one. Start with just learning one if you're not used to waking yourself up, and move on from the one. And so, how to make it a habit is kind of like doing reality checks. Practice 3 and 4 times a day. And it doesn't have to be, long meditations or anything. You can pause for a few moments, put yourself in an astral situation by visualizing, or however you do it, when tactile, just feel yourself there. Okay, so, let's say it's like a reality check. You're sitting at your desk working, you're going to take 2 minutes off, put in your mind that you're astral projecting, and then choose one of these methods to wake yourself up and perform it. And then repeat again with the repetition and the practice. You do this multiple times a day, and eventually this will become part of your astral spiritual toolbox. You'll be able to wake yourself up. You'll remember that you can, and it'll just become more natural the more you practice, and especially that you practice in the astral. But once I'm out, I don't want to wake up anytime soon myself. So it's maybe better practice just throughout the day, just so that it's there in your mind that you are able to do this and this does work. And once you have one down, maybe start incorporating some of the other things. So thanks so much for listening. Please like and subscribe if you liked this. And, thanks so much. Happy astral travels.